Organic farming uses natural inputs, avoiding artificial fertilizers like pesticides, and focuses on improving soil health and conserving biodiversity. Aluba Farm, located in Luguzi Ward, Namayumba Town Council, Wakiso District, is a prime example of this approach. Under the leadership of Deus Nuwagaba, the farm has embraced organic coffee farming, thanks to government support and direct access to organic inputs from Makonde Organic Uganda Limited. In today's Farm Matters show, we explore how organic and climate-smart farming practices not only improve soil health, but also encourage the return of earthworms, unlike the use of inorganic fertilizers.
And right here, we are trying to test the issue of a full-scale operationalization of a regenerative farming system, which is built on two agroecological principles, but critically the environmental balanced with productivity. That's what we are trying to do. And within this, we are trying to test mechanisms that can support a response to increase productivity, but while keeping in balance with two things. One is the environment, and the other, of course, also with our community. You should have seen our farmers we work with here. We try to see that they can also adapt to what we are doing. And we are starting organic. We are farming organically now. And starting with the component of also soil as a very important part, because many farmers have had a very big problem in that area, because soil provides the basis through which the other decisions of what nutrients are missing can be provided, and at the same time also to how much should be applied. So we try to see that we do soil analysis, and then we also use organic inputs, starting with talk about SG 1000, talk about vermicompost and vermiculture, and then also soil and crop as part of the responses. Mainly to do what? To tell the soil pH, and then we can provide the nutrients that are missing at 3 critical stages. Farmers are not aware that currently in the country there's opportunity for organic inputs that now guarantee the same productivity levels that the inorganic inputs can do. But two is that there's need of more awareness, because farmers aren't aware that now organic inputs can be able to cover the requirement that a farmer wants. And the other part is that the technical use of organic inputs requires that farmers build capacity to understand how to use them very well and sustainably. That's one of the things that I think we need. And also having enough, because when we talk about the organic inputs now, they're not sufficient in the country. But the advantage is that they are locally produced. That's one good advantage that we have. Support that we have seen also from government is the response to support the manufacturers locally that are starting to produce, to manufacture competitive organic inputs. That's a very good consideration. The other part is also we see response coming in for a number of government initiatives to work with the farmers to be able to access organic and other inputs to increase productivity, because now it's a country priority on how farmers can be able to use organic or other inputs to increase productivity. There's a deliberate government program into agriculture. For the last 1 year, I've been changing the farming system from purely inorganic to first it was inorganic and organic balanced, and now we have totally moved towards organic. But what we see is that yes, we see an improvement in soil health, and when we talk about improvement in soil health, the key KPI that we have used is now the return of earthworms into our soil productivity, into our soils. That's one guarantee that gives for the soil health. I think one, it is to do with the shift from inorganic to organic inputs is many for two reasons. One is that we have a balanced production ecosystem which preserves the environment but also guarantees increased productivity. And under that, we are mainly looking at the soil health. And with soil health, we are looking at how to improve the soil productivity with soil microorganisms and soil and the response in that nature. So we have been able to facilitate that. Then the other component has been to do with the balanced preservations of our bees, because we also produce bees, and that's part of our biodiversity conservation mechanism, and that's very important for us. But the other bit is that there's a very good organic market, because a good organic market guarantees the consumers of the very good product that we are venturing into, and that keeps the health, the human being health, more appropriate.
Organic farming has improved yields at Aluba Farm despite challenges from pests like black twig borer and red blister. Farmers' testimonies show the positive impact of organic practices on crop health and productivity.
There are two main problems, especially pests and diseases. One is the black twig borer, and the other is the red blister. And red blister is mainly a problem of insufficient nutrients into the soil, and particularly nitrogen, which will move into the aspect of organic matter content. Now, these organic inputs, especially the vermi products, we are trying to see how we use vermicompost to see that it responds to our nutrient requirement, and that reduces also the cost of the plant, or increases the resistance of the plant to pests and diseases, which we are seeing as also very good response that has been able to yield. The main thing is that now we have modified or changed the farming system from the normal traditional farming system of 3 meters by 3 meters, especially for robusta, to 3 meters by 1, and that is mainly to increase the population density of coffee into 1 acre to almost 1,333 as compared to only 450. So that increases almost 3 times more. Yes, so we are doing it here. There are two things. One is that blended with soil testing, we are also trying to recycle as much as possible our organic waste back into the soil, especially for the microbial activity. But the other also is that we are also using now organic inputs to see that they can help in terms of restoration. Thing is that we are working, of course, with Makonde, that are distributors of Vampro products, to see that we can be able to have access to organic inputs, and that helps us to see that we can provide what the farm requires at any particular time. And we are also putting a mechanism that we can share this with the community around us. So that's one of the things that we are trying to do.
Nwagaba, once reliant on synthetic inputs, has transitioned to a sustainable farming system, expanding Aluba Farm from coffee farming to include apiary and aquaculture.
Because the bees are part of our production ecosystem, and many as pollinators, because that's part of our biodiversity conservation and organic farming system that is mainly using organic inputs, helps us to see that we preserve these organic, the bees, to ensure that they are part of our ecosystem. And that's one of the things that increases also productivity, because they enhance pollination, especially for the Robusta coffees. And of course, getting also extra income. We are able to harvest every year, and we enjoy some honey, but also bring some to the market that we are not able to consume. The main benefit is we have the bees mainly for pollination, to increase our productivity, but two, also to provide as a source of honey and sugars at the farm, as well as also extra income that we can make from the sale. And mainly here we have the water reserve, water source, and which we actually handmade using the tractors so that we can be able to have water. And mainly, and then we clean it, and then we have it available to the plant, but using solar as the means of energy to ensure that it can drive water to be available to the plants. And then around it, we have the catchment. This is mainly the catchment area to keep the water, to keep replenishing back into the pond. It is still part of the ecosystem around, protecting our water source to replenish all the time. One is mainly is that we are able to withstand. We have a resilient, adaptive, climate change adaptive production system that throughout the year we are able to produce. That's the main benefit, because we have irrigation and our water here. We have close to 20 million liters of water that can take us a full year without, even when there's even if there's no single rain, we can survive for the whole year. The fish cannot grow into an ecosystem that is not healthy naturally. But with our organic farming system and what we're trying to promote in terms of a regenerative agroecological farming system, once you use organic inputs, assume if there was toxic inputs applied on this plant here, sprayed, it will end up into the water system. But because we are using organic, even if we spray here, the next day people will have water and there's no problem, and our fish will be healthy. So, and that's one of the tests for our organic farming system. We do that. So I think that when we have this kind of an ecosystem which is regenerative, and when I mean regenerative, one thing is depending on the other. Fish that is drinking this water, eating from the pond here, and then the coffee that is also eating from the same. So you have that kind of interdependability, and that's what promotes a very sustainable agroecological regenerative farming system.
While many farmers are adopting organic farming, they urge the government to improve access to affordable organic inputs. Nuwagaba highlights that practices like proper coffee stamping and organic products have led to higher yields at Aluba Farm, surpassing those achieved with synthetic fertilizers.
And stamping is, we try to see that we can get off at least 1 foot off the ground so that you can stamp or cut this plant at 45 degrees, and mainly to allow for the regrowth of this plant. And why we stamp is mainly that we regenerate every 6 to 7 years. A coffee plant needs to change a cycle. The way you see this one. So after harvesting this coffee, then we quickly have to stamp and then to allow this to come up. This is about the last 6 months to get to this stage. And then within this is that we try to see that, we try to see that it can enhance the regrowth. But there's some science to do. That after we have stamped, we have also to enhance the growth of this plant. So after stamping, we have been deliberate at this point, at this time, so that we are able to give a taste of our organic products. And what we've done is that after you have stamped, because we are switching from the inorganic farming system to purely the first organic system, is that we used what we call super agric. Yes, super agric, which is very important in terms of improving the soil condition or the soil pH, and then to see that it can also neutralize the soil. It's very important. We call it soil and crop. To those who know soil pH is the mechanism or the means through which you can have the other inputs to be utilized. Then we have the SG 1000. This is the biostimulant, which enhances growth. It's also good for after planting. So when after planting, you can be able to utilize SG 1000. you can also combine with super Greek. Nti olinga bwe yandigambye in the normal inorganic system, that's why you have phosphorus from the single superphosphate. Now you can replace that with this. Kati bw'omala okukola ekyo kubanga you want organic growth, the vermicompost. The vermicompost. And you can do at least half a kilo. You can apply half a kilo on each of the plants. So this, now for this application, what we've done, we try to promote at least, you try to go 2 feet from the plant, and then you apply here. Yes, yes. So at least the forked hoe, so you can use the forked hoe. Then this is half. If you do this, vermicompost, and vermicompost has it has very healthy organisms. It's going to stimulate the growth of our organisms, but also organic matter. We use forked hoe. Why you use the forked hoe is mainly so that it keeps the roots. So we do this. And what you see that you don't cut the roots, then you can now apply half like that, then you can cover it. So if we do this combined, then it means that in 6 months you can have your coffee looking like this. At least once, you can do it once in a year. Then you have to take care of the plant. The plant has to be healthy. 2 kilos in 1 liter, in 10 jerrycans, and then 1 liter. Yes. Yes, by percent. But also what I mentioned also earlier on, that for organic inputs, if you don't have a nose because it is organic, you are not going to have the effect of you're not going to have the effect of spraying. So this is now the stage where you are able to see that at least in 6 months your crop is healthy. Normally we spray, at least for the organic inputs, you spray consistently 3 times because you want to see that you kill the cycle for the diseases. When you spray now, you have to do it 3 times consistently.
Makonde Organic Uganda Limited, the main distributor of Vempro organic farm products manufactured in Mukono Center, is making organic manure more accessible to farmers. Godfrey Kasemera, head of marketing and sales, explains that the manure is available at fair prices, and farmers who can't afford it can be trained to make their own within 21 days. Kasemera stresses that feeding a growing population requires not only increased food production, but also teaching farmers sustainable practices and the use of organic products.
There has been a cry in newspapers all over. Ugandans are dying silently out of the different chemicals, different inputs that farmers are using. And we said, as Vampro, as Makonde Organic, let's provide a difference. If people have been spraying their gardens, they have been using chemicals, should we keep lamenting? We said, no, let's go ahead and have products that are able to provide an alternative, to provide a remedy to solve that challenge. And then the second one has been about our mother nature, our nature. You know, the moment you destabilize nature, it comes back to us. That's why I say, let's have the products which are environmentally friendly to the environment, to the user, to other ecosystems, because you saw one of the people is like, some people who are doing the apiary, you know, bees have been dying. We know we want honey. It's a drug, it's medicine. So we are saying, let's use our friendly products like biopest, make sure that people are able to continue to have their bees. We know fish, they tell you eat fish, but we know chemicals and residues from the inputs have been running through the water bodies. We said, okay, let's have aquaplus to make sure that the fish farmers are able to grow their fish and we're able to have safe outputs out of our environment. We are safe to the user, to the consumer, as well as to the handler.
With Uganda's population of over 45 million, sustainable agriculture requires adopting good farming practices that conserve biodiversity, including the use of organic manure.